2026-02-28. February monthly roundup. Now I didn't do a January monthly roundup, I know. I'm gonna come clean. I got addicted to Ellen. I got way too addicted to Ellen. I I'm still playing it occasionally, actually. And there's some mods that I really like for it. Okay, that's when I know. That's when I know two things. By the way, when I that's when I know two things. By the way, one, that's when I know I'm slightly losing interest. At the very least, slightly losing interest in the game I'm playing. But also, two, when I know that's when I need to stop because I'm gonna start going down the rabbit hole. Is when I start messing with mods in video games. Quality of life stuff, that's fine. That's fine. I would use stuff like the gene selector mod, the whip selector mod, so you can actually determine a resident's job and hobby uh, without the RNG. That's fine. But then I started getting into like I think the first big content mod I got into was more monsters, and then I got into a mod called Lost Machines by the same creator, and then I got into this mod called Kahonas, Isekai Expansion, which is like 90% Blue Archive guns, and I know jack and shit about Blue Archive other than it's little girls using guns. Anyway, but I play it still not as much as I did up until probably about half a week, a few days ago. Um, I was heavily addicted to it for a lot of December. I started using mods, I think, in January. I was and even then it was mostly just texture replacer or quality of life stuff. I started heavily using content mods probably this month, actually. Yeah, this month in February. And I was basically addicted to it for it. I'd say all of December, all of January, and all of February, pretty much. Things are slowing down now. Things are slowing down. I'm only occasionally playing it for like a couple hours here and there, as opposed to all of the free time I have in a given day. Um, but there was another thing I was gonna do like a sort of a late but a late but early month roundup update for January. But two things. One, there really wasn't much to even explain about since outside of my own random ramblings because addicted to Ellen. Two, something happened. Um, when I play games like Ellen, I usually have something on in the background, audio, VODs for YouTubers I like, audiobooks, music. Sometimes I put music on. Sometimes I put like like this big music loops on. I've actually found that setting all bullshit aside and not getting and not getting too worked up over too hard focused on the greater consequences of it all, which they are important, but people who kind of get that up their ass every single time the subject's brought up for the most minor of things are kind of insufferable. But I've actually not this isn't a recent thing. Admittedly, I discovered AI music, AI created music and or assisted music or whatever. And I'm sorry, but you ain't seen shit until you've heard a perfect soul version of Rob Zombie's Dracula. But more importantly, and this is something I found a while back. A little side tangent, I guess. I found this a while back, about half a year ago, I think, because of YouTube. I would I would listen whenever I'm on the go, whenever I'm on the go and there's a hotspot, whenever I'm out and away from my desk doing stuff around the main house area. I will have music playing if I'm not listening to YouTube VODs. And YouTube, and I specifically use a browser that blocks all the fucking ads. And YouTube's algorithm, uh, I don't remember if this one used AI, and I'm trying to remember the name of it in the first place. I legit can. I'd have to dig for it. I have a lot of music in my offline collection. A lot of the videos from these some of these channels. I can't I can't think of it. It was like Cyberpunk Station, I think. And YouTube's algorithm recommended me this because it was a lot of like some blues, some techno, some jazz, and it was really good. Like almost hour long videos of compilations of music. Alright, we're back. I think. I was saying YouTube algorithm. Yeah, like the algorithm would recommend this to me, and it started with Cyberpunk Station, and then it went to fuck, what was it called? Actually, no, Cyberpunk Station wasn't the one I'm thinking of. Hyperdrive Sound. That's the one. That's the one. It was the first channel the algorithm showed me. And Hyperdrive Sounds is the one I was thinking of. I don't remember if they listed that they used AI or not in the description. And I can't really tell if they used AI. But it doesn't matter. Actually, here's the thing. I don't understand how, there are people that can do this. And I understand it. There are people, you can make I'm not saying this like as a pro AI thing. I'm just saying this in general. You can get an AI to make the most realistically looking, like this was drawn image. This is drawn by hand image. Now there are technologies, and there are people with skill sets. I think my favorite, I think I bring him up occasionally. Mujin did a video on this. I think Reem Evanstar did too. Two of my favorite YouTubers for covering drama in the VTuber and wider streaming sphere. Mujin and I think Reem Evanstar both did a video. I think they both did a video on this, discussing this artist that was cheating using AI to be in this like sort of exclusive space, like this exclusive site or something on the internet that only actual artists are allowed in. And there were artists who had such skill sets that they could tell. They couldn't just tell at a glance. They could describe to you exactly what was wrong with an image, like on site, that shows that it's AI. And then they would use like software and technology to reveal what they're talking about to prove that it's AI created. But that's artists who have been doing this shit for like several years or more, who have been artists for several years or more making art. There are people I've seen who just immediately at a glance they can tell from like minor discrepancies that's AI, who aren't even artists, and it weirds me out. And then there's people who can I'm sure there's people who can like listen to music and immediately tell if it's AI generated for some weird discrepancy, in the music that I guess I'm just tone deaf to, because I listen to a lot of this stuff and it just sounds like it's actual music. It's good fucking music. I think I kind of get it. There's certain like things you can probably pick up on in like tone and pitch. But anyway, this isn't a pro or anti thing. I'm just explaining something about it. But it started with Hyperdrive Sounds, then Cyberpunk Station, and then it went into others. and I would occasionally put that stuff on. I haven't done that. I haven't really done that lately. I have not really done that lately, but it's something I would do in the background playing games like Ellen. Uh, we're getting way off track though. This is, like I said, this is a lot of this is also my random ramblings. What I've been doing lately is Vampire Hunter D. There is a organization called Graphic Audio. They do amazing work, and a lot of ambient music and ambient background noise and sound effects. And I was surprised to find out, and I know they're huge. I know they have so many works. I was introduced to them because of a friend that got me into audiobooks for Brandon Sanderson's books. Graphic Audio did a lot of his stuff. Then I got into they have these like previews at the very end of the audiobook for other stuff they've done, and one of these was for the Demon Wars saga, I think it was called. So I checked that out and I loved that. And then I found out, oh shit, they've been doing Vampire Hunter D. I found this out about a year or two ago. Started checking it out, but they only went up to like, at the time they only went up to like book 12, 13, 14, whatever, and I think I caught up on all of it, and then my friend DMs me and like out of the blue, he's like, "Dude, Graphic Audio just dropped like in a short time, and like only recently, in a very short time span, they just dropped like another 12 VHD novels. You might want to check that out." So I looked at it, and sure enough, they did. And even now, I think there's like 3 or 4 more since the last time I got fully up to date in my collection on their stuff for VHD, and I've been listening to that. And it was one day. Sorry for all the rambling. The incident that happened. It was one day. I'm playing Ellen. I'm listening to Vampire Hunter D, Graphic Audio, and suddenly the file stops playing. And I try to find my place in the file, and like it's like the file is corrupted past a certain timestamp, for a certain point in time in the audio where it froze up and stopped playing. I'm thinking it's weird, so I maybe the file is corrupt. Maybe I didn't download the file properly, and something happened, and in transit. So I download the file again. It works good. It works perfectly. I continue listening, and then it fucks up again, and I'm very confused. And then I back out into the main. I have three hard drives in this computer. I have the main boot drive, an internal video game drive, and an internal media drive. The internal game drive it's self-explanatory. It's self-explanatory, but I would install games. On the main boot drive because it was the only SSD. The other two were older, repurposed HDDs. Well, I back out into the main part of the media drive's the media drive directory, and try to go into my folders to look at other files to see if everything's okay. Because I started to suspect it's the hard drive, and sure enough, I can't access anything. The drive you are requesting to access does not exist, or some shit. So I power the computer off, power it back, I restart the computer. Suddenly the drive isn't even detected. So I turn the computer off, open it up, check all the connectors, close it up and power it on after determining everything's connected properly, and the computer won't start. More accurately, the computer will start. I hear a persistent clicking noise. Clicking happens several times, and I hear something powering down. But the lights in the computer are on, everything seems to be running, so I open it up and actually go inside while it's still plugged in, restart the computer, and get a good look at what's going on. And I see what's happening is, after the clicking stops, the GPU, which starts up for a bit, powers off. Everything else in the computer is running, the GPU isn't. Very confusing. At first, I was a bit. At first, I thought, okay, the hard drive's dead. But then I started to panic a little bit and thinking, please, don't fucking let it be my GPU. Or I looked into this and found out that it could also be the power supply units either shot or not supplying enough power. I panicked for a little bit, a few minutes, and I'm thinking, backpedal a bit to the original problem, and Occam's razor, simplest solution might be the simplest thing might be the right thing. So I unhook the clearly dead HDD. Everything powers on perfectly again. A bit pissed. I'm a bit pissed because that was my internal media drive. I had a lot of shit on that. I had animated movies. I had I had audio. I had light novels. I had some shit on there that I actually lost permanently. I cannot get it back. Or cannot get it back very easily. In some cases, can't get it back at all. In some, can't get it back very easily. But what pissed me off the most was I can't do this with only the 2 drives. I keep a lot of shit on the computer. I keep, And then I realized I had another SSD. I had this idea a while back of using a dock system, you see. And the idea was my collection would be a series of internal drives instead of external drives, hooked up to a big dock system. So I got a single slot dock system to try it out, and I bought years back and bought a couple SSDs. These SSDs would go on to be almost never used. The one I use as the boot drive in my computer now was used one time to store a bunch of PS3 games. And when I built this computer a couple years back, I wiped it, and I wiped that drive after transferring the PS3 games elsewhere and used it as the main boot drive. Well, there was another one I was using just for my music, so I just transferred that elsewhere and cleaned the drive out and just installed it into the computer. And now I have a second SSD as the internal game drive, and I can actually install games to that, keep them off the main drive for space, and the old game drive, which is a still functioning HDD, is the new internal media drive. Again, sorry for the rambling and talking your ear off, but there you go. That incident happened early into this month, and everything's been working since. But I decided, fuck it, I'll just not do what I was gonna do, like a late but still their roundup. But it's like, one, there was really nothing to talk about. Two, after this happened early in February, I was like, fuck it, I'll just wait until the end of February and do the February roundup. As for the roundup itself, by now, if you even paid attention to the channel, you've seen I upload Trepang. It's called, I think it looks like it's called Trepang Squared, but because of the way typing works, it always looks like Trepang 2 with no space. I just call it Trepang. I'm just gonna call it Trepang. But I started playing Trepang at the request because it's one of the recommendations a friend gave me. Who also the first game I actually tore myself away from my autistic addictions to complete this year was another recommendation of theirs. I guess I'm trying to go down the list a little bit. And then I got another friend who basically is telling me I don't care what it takes. We're gonna put you through some more. We're gonna actually get you into the Mega Man series. We're gonna get you into and we're gonna get you going through more Sonic games. We're gonna get you going through what else did he fucking tell me? It was something. Like he basically wants to get me more into a lot of series that I've almost never touched until recently. And it's like, sure. The thing is, I say this with full admittance. Sometimes I just do need to be tard wrangled. Like one night last year, I think he's like, okay, so since you don't need free will, choose Mega Man or Sonic. And like, fuck it, Sonic. And then I went through some Sonic, a bunch of this. I went through like the whole Sonic collection on the Genesis, Sonic CD. Even said, fuck it, I'm gonna play Sonic Spinball. I'm gonna get that out of the way. Never beat that as a kid. Like, sometimes I do need to be hard wrangled and told, yo, fuck nuts. We're doing this. Get in VC to be torn away from my own autistic bullshit. And I admit this. I fully admit this. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, Trepang. I legit. I think I have like 3 or 4 parts already. The first of which I've already rendered and uploaded to my YouTube channel because I am deciding. I am going to finish this before there. I'm not going to say the exact date, but early next month I go in for some major oral surgery. I don't know how easily I'll be able to talk for a while after it. Um, my basic idea was a couple days ago. Fuck everything. I'm gonna in my spare time. I'm gonna set Ellen aside. I'm gonna make myself go through Trepang because it. So the friend that recommended this game to me, recommended a bunch of other games to me. All they did was they showed me a video. They showed me a video of a dude doing the fear slow mo thing, and I think that was the thing you could do in Fear, and just shooting a shit ton of dudes in some I don't even know like church looking place. And I'm like, huh, this looks fucking sick. And they tell me what it is. They tell me what it is, but then they're like, no one ever takes my game serious. I'm like, fuck it, give me the whole list. And they give me the whole list, everything that they would recommend. I write it down in my video game backlog. I have an actual like written little written notebook for all the games I want to beat, and the games I want to beat, the platforms I'm going to play them on, cross them off when I finish them. I've had this for years now. It's basically at this point it's basically my Bible kind of for video games. Like my shorthand Bible for my video game backlog. But I got into it, and well, if you checked out the video, if you didn't, I'll just say it here. I was very clearly so fucking happy when I played through the first level of this game. It was immediately became one of my top faves. I did this series of videos. Wow, I did this one video, brain fart, recently called My Ideal Game, where I was rambling and ranting about Monster Quest Paradox and Ellen. And the big focal point of this was my main ideal game would be a schizo game, a gumbo game, as a friend of mine would put it, a game where you can legitimately just do whatever you want. I think when I did the video, one of the things I said was like, my ideal game would be one where I'm going out adventuring, killing dragons and monsters, and I come back to a town and start managing a restaurant that I own. Like, just give me a game where I can do whatever the fuck I want. Give me a game where I can just do just about it and just have fun. And but it has to have enough tools in it. It has to be a game with a big enough toolkit, a big enough toy box. If you just give me something that's like a very bare bones blank slate type thing, that's not going to be fun at all. And like Ellen's probably the main game I can think off the top of my head that fits that bill. Where yeah, you can go out adventuring, and then come home and manage a fucking restaurant by preparing food to sell at your settlement. Or You know, you can build, you can construct, you can do whatever you want. You can go adventuring, just be a murder hobo, or you can do everything. It's something where I had to admit, I'm in the community server, was talking with people, and I had to admit openly, I think I'm spreading myself too thin. I think I need to like just make a list of my immediate desired objectives and stick to that because there's too much I want to do in this game. Um, but I made that video, and afterwards I thought, you know, I feel like I want to turn this into a bit of a series where I discuss my ideal game, but go across genres maybe. One idea I had, there was a specific game I was going to record, and I'm still going to do it at some point. I was going to not record me going through the game, but just record me playing some of it while I do this. And I was going to do my ideal game for FPS games. And I'm glad I didn't do it just yet. I was thinking about doing it in this month. I'm glad I held off. I'm glad I didn't do it just yet, because Trepang has definitely made it to that point. There's like two games off the top of my head I could put into the category of like this comes close, this very much fits the bill of an ideal game, of my ideal FPS game. Well, Trepang's entered and become the third. But I want to suck it off too much until I actually beat it and do the my gaming experience recording for it. Anyway, there was that. There was. I'm still planning to get back into OP 2.2. I'm still planning to continue publishing the Runamon Rabbit Hole videos I have uploaded, but private did on my account. I was trying to do like go through and put timestamps on fucking everything. I genuinely got tired of doing that because it involved going through each entire video. I started at one point just skipping around to determine what's in the video and find the exact starting point of each one, instead of listening to the video in the background while I do other stuff and stop everything to do the timestamps. Anytime I start a new reception or whatever, I would listen to a several-hour video I recorded of myself, basically, just to do this. And it got to the point where I was like, no, I'm just going to skip around and find the timestamps, put the timestamps in. I'm not trying to be professional. I'm not trying to be fucking professional about this. It's just a hobby thing. Fuck it. I really need to get back to that. I got lazy about 2.2. I got lazy about Runamon Rabbit Hole. I need to get my ass back in gear on that. But it's probably going to be right away after the oral surgery, and Trepang is something I really want to do before I go in for the surgery, in case I'll have trouble talking for a while after that. Let's see. Speaking of, I wanted to just do a bit of rambling, so I keep. So let's you've seen. You've seen a lot of my channel. You've seen explanation for. You've heard me ramble about a lot of things that don't even fucking matter to the channel. When you've heard the channel part, you can go if you want to. Now I'm just gonna ramble about some stuff. Mainly, in terms of archives, I've been getting back into grabbing up stuff, creepy tubers I like. Discovered a few more video game ones. I forget if I mentioned this in the December roundup I did a couple months back, but there's like Marsh SMT, Punchy, Dungeon Chill. Though I explicitly chose not to grab. I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember if it's Marsh. No, it's not Marsh SMT. It's Punchy. I'm pretty sure it was Punchy. Punchy has like a fair amount of content, recent content on his channel. But if you go back just a little bit, all of his stuff turns into speedrun stuff, and it's like, yeah, I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm sorry, but I don't give a shit about any of that. So I explicitly only grabbed the stuff he did talking about weird and obscure and often bad games, because that interested me. But the speedrun stuff is not going to end up in my collection, my personal collection. But yeah, Punchy, Dungeon Chill, March SMT. There's others I need to really get into. I need to finish collecting the Volgan stuff, and I need to get back up to date on Exploring series because I think I've been slacking on that a bit. Speaking of, due to losing so much shit, due to losing so much shit, it used to be I could barely keep any space on my internal media drive. Due to losing so much shit when that drive died, and I found, by the way, the persistent clicking was the drive itself. Because after I got everything situated with the computer, I slotted the definitely the most likely definitely dead drive into my external dock thing, and plugged it into my computer as an external drive. And as soon as I powered the dock on, persistent clicking several times, and then nothing. I ended up chucking it into a drawer. That drive is fucking dead. And if I remember correctly, there's a reason. There's a good reason. When I built this computer, I bought all brand new parts. It was we got my family we got our taxes. I got all new parts for this shit, and thankfully it was a couple years ago before all this AI shit started inflating the prices because corporations are fucking retarded. But mm, but the one thing I skimped out on a bit was the hard drives. I already explained like what I used for the main boot drive, an SSD that I only used like once to store PS3 games, so it didn't see any wear and tear before I put it in. But the two HDDs I used but it was only a half a terabyte. The two HDDs I used for extra storage were both a gigabyte apiece. I'm sorry, a terabyte apiece. A terabyte apiece. My dumbass. Holy shit, a gigabyte apiece. No fucking way. Uh, and I put them in not just deciding I wanted extra space and multiple hard drives because this was the first time in my life I've ever had a computer with more than one internal hard drive. And I can never go back now. I can never two things I can never go back now on. I have to use an SSD as the boot drive now. It is amazing. This is the first. It was building this computer 2 years back, like two years back was 2 or 3 years back was the first time in my life I've ever done multiple hard drives in a computer and an SSD as the main boot drive. And I can never go back on either of those two things. That it has to be that way now. It's too good. My computer boots up. The old gaming rig I built uh, with a mishmash of at the time slightly modern and several year old saved up components. That computer had an HDD in it, and it took forever to fucking boot up, to boot it properly. And that's what I did some of my old OP2 videos on, specifically for I don't even know. It also made loading a massive fucking hassle. Loading would take so fucking long in our National OP2. Now it's like lightning fast. Loading any game's like lightning fast now. It's why I decided to make that second SSD I put in the new game drive and basically swap the drives. So the SSD's new game drive, the old game drive's the new media drive. But when I built this computer, I skimped out on the hard drives, and the two HDDs I put in for more space before deciding what I was actually going to do with them were. We're still recording, right? We're still recording. Okay. And the two HDDs that I put in for extra space before deciding what to do with them came from two other computers. I think the one that became the game drive was the one from the old gaming rig I built that was kind of shitty Frankenstein of old and somewhat new parts for the time I built it years back. The other one that became the media drive was even older. Um, It was an HDD from an all-in-one PC I used to have. To give an explanation, I think I mentioned this before. The all-in-one PC I'm referring to, if you go to my channel to some of my earliest content where I showed off Fallout New Vegas player home mods, yeah, that all-in-one PC is the computer I used to do those videos. A friend of my mother's basically knew I was good with computers and told me, "Hey, I'll let you borrow. I can't figure this. I can't figure my computer out. Something's wrong with it. I will let you borrow it for a while if you can fix it." So I fixed it, and for the time, like over a decade ago, I believe. Yeah, definitely over a decade, a bit over a decade ago. This all-in-one PC was way better than anything I had. So I used it to do to record some videos. And that's why I used for the Fallout New Vegas player home mod videos. I did like over 10 years ago on my channel by now. Gave it back to her, and then years later I would find out. And in like a good few or so years after that, I would find out that she mostly just stuck it in her closet. She stuck it in her closet, and it was collecting dust. So I bought it from her for cheap. It was the best computer I had at the time, even then, years later. And yeah, actually, hang on, I'm gonna stop recording. I'm gonna stop recording for a minute. I gotta check. Okay, yeah, 11 years ago. Also, Jesus Christ, I know it's been 11 years, but seeing that those four videos I did have anywhere from 800 to just over 1,000 views is insane. I especially considering it's insane because then I look at the Neverwinter Nights stuff I did literally right alongside it, and there's no fucking views. There's like no fucking views at all. Holy shit. I mean, New Vegas was popular. That is true. New Vegas was popular, so I can't see it, but it still blows me away. Holy fuck. Also, someone already commenting on my Trepang video. Damn, it blew me away. It blew me away. It blew me away. I recently went to YouTube and looked at my notifications and found out I got somebody that actually likes OP2 in my watching my channel and in my comments, and I'm like, holy shit! I never expected anyone to show up that gave a shit about my autistic stalker obsession that is OP2. But yeah, it was 11 years ago. It was a few years after that I bought it for cheap. I still remember the bullshit I had to deal with that. I still remember it. It was she put it in her closet. It collected dust, and then she forgot the password. Now, if you typically when you forget a password, I might be teaching you something I shouldn't, but it comes in handy. Typically, when you forget a password for a computer, right? You can usually resolve this at least I've found that you can resolve this easily by just doing a clean reinstallation of the OS. When you do a clean reinstallation of the operating system, and you can do this easily using a boot drive. In my personal offline collection, I actually have a small. Again, I think I might have talked about this before in the December roundup. I actually keep a small zip up, not pouch, but whatever you want to call it, a small little zip up pouch thing. No, what am I saying? A small CD binder, a small like single space CD binder, zip up CD binder, and in this binder I have multiple discs with Windows XP, Windows 7, and Windows 10 burned on them. I think I keep like 2 discs per operating system, and then I have one boot drive for each operating system, just because. And So like literally, if you have a problem where you have a computer, you don't know the password for it, you can what you do is you preferably use a boot drive. I don't build my computers with with CD trays, with disk trays. I don't build my computers with disk trays in them. Everything's through the USB. So if so, if you can try a CD installation, a disk installation, or if the computer doesn't have a disk tray, just do just use a boot drive and install the operating system from like the power, like the you can access like BIOS or whatever from the moment you start the computer. Do that or whatever. Go in, clean install the operating system. And the best part about this is when you do this, it will keep. You have a choice. You can wipe fucking everything, I think, or you can keep all of the old files and it'll put it in this Windows.old folder. Unless things have changed since I last did this kind of shit, it should still be roughly like this. And when you're done with the clean OS installation, you can just go into that folder and look through all the old files that were on the computer. So if you ever I guess if you ever want to get into a computer you shouldn't, that isn't yours, you can do that. Or if you're just having trouble with a computer, like I was, you could do that. Except for me, it didn't work because the BIOS were passworded. And the worst part was when I asked her about this, she told me she couldn't. She's not really knowledgeable about stuff, and she couldn't remember if she set one for the BIOS. She not only could she not tell me what it is, she told me she really couldn't tell me if she even set one or not. And if she did, holy shit, I'm fucked. If she didn't, I would have to try whatever default master passwords the BIOS would have. And I tried that, and none of it worked. And I thought I was royally fucking screwed. Until I discovered what you can do. See, even if you unplug the computer, even if you power the computer off, there's this little battery. There's a little battery for the BIOS to permanently run on, or at least save information to. Which is why even unplugging the computer won't help. So what I ended up having to do was open up. I literally ended up having to pry open the computer. And I'm thinking of the wrong fucking thing. The prying open thing was for a monitor. Or was that computer? Shit, I don't remember. But it was something separate. I ended up opening the computer. I opened it properly. The prying thing was something else. I opened the computer, and I found the battery for the BIOS. And what you do is you have to take that out, and you have to leave it out for like 5 minutes, and then reinsert it back in. And this will reset all of the BIOS information. So I did this, and I could finally do a clean reinstallation of Windows on this all-in-one PC. And it served me well up until it finally died. The best I could figure was the internal power or the motherboard inside the computer was dying. It was unable. It would start just powering off if I put too much strain on the computer, trying to play a video game, and then it would and then it got worse, and I literally couldn't even save my own Firefox bookmarks or anything like that, because even opening the browser would put enough strain on the PC to make it shut down. It was the motherboard of the PSU, I think. I don't know, but regardless, I harvested the HDD from it, and that became the internal media drive of this computer until it finally died. The last vestiges, the last living component from that all-in-one PC. And considering I used it 11 years ago to make videos for my channel, it died on me about around the time I built this computer, about 3 years ago. And this computer was not brand new when I borrowed it and fixed it for my mom's friend uh to make the videos I did. It was not brand new. It's probably been a good few or so years old. So this was an old computer. I would wager this was by the time it finally died, this was a 15-year-old, probably about a 15-year-old computer, I would wager. And the hard drive lasted even longer until finally giving out just a bit less than a month ago. This hard drive's that hard drive's probably been around for 17 or so years. I would wager. Did its duty. It did its fucking duty. I'm a bit annoyed about losing stuff, but it did its duty. I fucking salute it. I don't even know what I was talking about now. Like, what led to this? I think, like I said, this is the part where I'm just rambling. But, give me a sec. Well, since we're still rambling, fuck it. Other stuff I've been getting into. Like I said, I found a few more creepy tubers. I found Farrell McGuire. I don't even know if I mentioned him, but I found Moldered. A few months ago, I found Moldered. A friend of mine more recently showed me Farrell McGuire. And then I found a guy called Question. He apparently has an actual handle, Question Theory, but his YouTube channel, he just calls himself Question. And he does some interesting shit because he does some really nice videos on. I can actually probably categorize some of these. You got stuff like Nexpo or Nightmind. They'll talk about ARGs. They'll talk about found footage. They'll talk about shit. There's another name for it besides found footage. Found footage, ARGs. God, there's a term. There's another term that's slipping my mind. Analog horror. They'll talk about found footage, analog horror, ARG shit. They'll talk about creepypasta shit. Sometimes they'll talk about real events. Then you got like Kyoto Roboto, who hasn't uploaded in a while, if I remember right. He expressly covers stuff that happens in Japan that you probably wouldn't even find out about unless you either lived there or actively paid attention to Japanese news. There's Moldered's an interesting case. He covers a range of weird topics. I don't remember the name of it. I'd probably have to pause to go look it up and look up what it is. But he did like a video about, fuck this. I want to know what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, he did a video on this aesthetic called Deep Web Core. He did that was like very prominent in Russia. Apparently, he did some stuff about Russia. About like Russian culture stuff. I think one of my favorites was his video on Samus Bor. There's a couple of video games now that he actually talks about in that video that are basically based off of the whole concept of Samus Bor, and I really want to try those out just see how they are. Um, I like he covers a lot of stuff that's particularly Russian centric, like Russian and that part of the world centric. And then he started doing other creepy stuff. Started going into some fun horror stuff. And he does like just weird. He's like the odd man out to me in category in terms of like what I can categorize him as, because he, outside of just saying he often covers stuff that's related to like Russia culture, Russian internet culture, because or has done some videos on that stuff. Because like he tends to just do whatever. He did a video on Sims4. He did a video on Deep Web Core. He did a video on Blam. He did a video on he did a video on Blam and Blam Aesthetic, and like other media that kind of encapsulates that kind of thing. He did a video on more recently on the last person trope, like last person alive in the world or whatever. And then more recently even covered like an analog horror series, that a French analog horror series that I've never seen anyone talk about and never got any real recognition until he covered it. Funnily enough, apparently the people behind that French analog horror series actually stated that they hope someone big picks it up to talk about it, like one of those big YouTubers that talks about analog horror and and ARG stuff, because it would give them more exposure and publicity than they themselves could manage on their own. And Mulder gave them their wish. Said yeah, Mulder didn't, but then you have like Farrell McGuire, who expressly covers horrors. He's done stuff like, horrors on the web and shit. But then he does very specific videos like horrors on Pirate Bay, horrors on LinkedIn, horrors on Pinterest. And actually goes into some pretty fucking detailed stuff. There's a bit in the very first there's a bit in in the very beginning, the very beginning of the horrors on LinkedIn video, where he goes into a lot of detail about a guy who apparently works in the White House, and he has a bunch of videos of himself that are AI made, but he's a real person, of him talking, explaining shit, but he's a real person. He's photoshopped himself into pictures to make it look like he knows a lot of more important people than he does. He's faked a lot of credentials, even stolen credentials and papers and shit from people with a similar or same name as him. And it turns out he's related to a cult that operates out of like Ukraine or Russia, and both Ukraine and Russia, oddly enough, agree on this. They both denounce this cult. And it got raided by the authorities. It was fucking crazy shit. And then you have Question. And Question does something similar, but without focusing on broad websites. He focuses on countries. And I think... let me try to remember this. One of the other ones, not Question, one of the other YouTubers I watch does something similar, and I can't remember if it's Farrell McGuire or somebody else. Let me look into this. Okay, yeah, it is Farrell McGuire. Some of his older videos, before he started doing like the broader websites, was stuff like horror on Russia's internet, horrors on Russia's internet, horrors on Iran's internet, horrors on China's internet, horrors on the Arabic internet. I think one of my favorite things was, I believe it was the Arabic internet video, covering, I feel like I might have talked about this before, covering like how people over there do their faked ghost hunting shit. What they do is they're hunting jinns, and they'll literally have a friend of theirs dress as a djinn, and the concept of what a djinn like visually looks like there is like they're a short jet black like being like person. So they would literally have their friends put on full body black paint and like squat down to make themselves smaller and just act like a djinn and be all crazy while they pretend they're exercising. It's so fucking bizarre and I love it. Well, Question does something similar to Farrell's old Horizon X Country's Internet. He does videos about horrors from other countries. And I forget if it's like actual horror, I forget it's like non-internet or internet. I think it is internet horrors from. I'm gonna end up checking this again, aren't I? Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's the disturbing internet horrors of X country. So it's like the disturbing internet horror, or not even X country, fucking states too. He did one on the disturbing internet horrors of Florida, and I think that was really fucking fun to watch. Disturbing internet horrors of Florida, disturbing internet horrors of Russia, China, Japan, and his latest one they actually uploaded today. Go check it out. Though I need to check it out still. Disturbing internet horrors of I think it was Vietnam. Yeah, Vietnam. And I had to think because I just looked at it, but I still had to think for a sec. Yeah, that shit's really fun. Hey, you know what fucks me up? You know what fucks me up? I mentioned this in the very beginning of the video, by the way, about how I've seen a lot of channels that do AI music or AI assisted music, and they do it really well, and it's done really well, and the music's amazing. It's really fun. It's either if it's a song like I said, a soul version of Rob Zombie's Dracula, it's usually really well done. If it's just ambient shit, instrumental music, it sounds really nice. There was another one. There was actually another one, real quick, called Phantom Swing that actually did vocal music with vocals, AI assisted or generated, whatever. And the idea was it was music compilations with the theming of a phantom with Phantom Thief is the theme for each song, and these songs were fucking amazing. I would have to check. I'm not going to pause the video to check it right now, but I would have to check it. But they did like 4 or 5 compilations and then never uploaded again, and it was a shame when I checked them last and it was a shame because like I downloaded all of these were all fucking fantastic. I listened to all of them. There was a bit of repetition. There's one thing I don't like when people do this. They will double up on it. They will, and I'm still trying to understand that one. They will make the track. They make the compilation of tracks, right? But the compilation of tracks will be half of the video, and the second half of the video will basically just be the same compilation of tracks, but starting over from the beginning. Now with Phantom Swing, if I remember correctly, and I might not be, I don't know, I don't remember. But I swear, I think they did do something where they changed up the tempo of the song to make it sound a bit different for the repeats of the tracks. Which if you're going to do that, if you're going to do a repeat of your shit and your compilations, yeah, at least make it sound a bit different, which this person did. But I've seen other people that they make the compilation and then they just copy it exactly to double it up and make it like a 2-hour long video. It's like, why fucking do that? I'm sure there's a reason. It's always people doing this to make it like 2-hour long videos, and I'm trying to understand why. I don't really have a complaint about these music channels, with one exception. Jidge Cat Jazz. Now I'm pretty sure they're still uploading, but and this part isn't even an AI thing. This part is not even an AI. It's every other channel I've mentioned, either they did their shit and they rarely upload anymore, or they upload like once a week, twice a month, something like that, right? With their AI generated, AI assisted made music. I found Jidge Cat Jazz. and so they were doing like a fucking upload a day, of what was basically an hour long compilation doubled up to 2 hours again for some fucking reason, but it was basically an hour long compilation of tracks every single day. They uploaded a different one, but by a certain and I would go through their stuff, and by a certain point it would all start sounding the same. Why? Well, not because, or if you're insistent, it's because of AI, not just because of AI. But I think the AI part has nothing to do with it. It's because they're doing one a day. Take any actual human, any human singer. Take Eminem. Put him in a studio. Lock him in there and say, you're going to release an hour-long album every fucking day. A new hour-long album. And I want you to wait and see how long it takes for Eminem's music to just all start sounding for every new day's album to sound just exactly like the previous days. I want you to see how long it takes for that to happen. It's a matter of burnout. It's a matter of literally of burnout. You can't do it every day. There's a reason a lot of the other channels I've seen do it once a week, twice a month, maybe once a month, because they know if they try to make a new fucking hour-long compilation of tracks every day, it's just gonna fucking sound the same. They try to fine-tune it, and they try to fine-tune the generation of the music or the AI assistants and actually make shit sound different. This dude doing Jij Cat Jazz, no offense to him, and I love jazz music, I love blues and soul music, but he's just hammering it out once a day, one album a day. And it's like your shit's starting to sound, just blend together, man. I don't know. It's like the kind of thing where, like, even though I'm a data hoarder, I'll probably grab the first 20 or so of his compilations, and that's it. When he has probably over 100 by now, because grabbing the other 80 is just going to be a waste of hard drive space because it's all going to sound the same. Shit. I got off track. The reason I brought the AI thing back up, though, was I happened to find a channel that is pure dog shit. See, I mentioned this with the AI music thing. It's the YouTube algorithm. YouTube's algorithm recommends me things. It's how I find a lot of things. It's how I found Question. It's how I found, a friend helped me find Pharrell McGuire. But I think it's how I found Moldered. Usually it's a matter of like, oh, you're a fan of Nexpo and Nightmind and Shrouded Hand, Lazy Masquerade. Well, here's these other YouTubers that do creepy shit, and usually they're a dime a dozen, and most of them aren't that interesting to watch compared to my choice picks. Hell, I've had a friend tell me he's not even a fan of Nexpo anymore because of the way Nexpo does his videos, and that's fair. That's fine. I think there's like someone made a joke post about this I saw once that kind of lives rent free in my head, where it's like like Nexpo and Wendigoon doing a video on the same like killer. They just made a killer for the post, the penis stabber or something, and they recite how Nexpo would do it. It's like, today, dramatic pause, we will be covering dramatic pause, dramatic sound effect in the background, the horrors of the penis stabber. And it's like Wendigoon. It's like when Wendigoon does it. Hey everyone! Today we're gonna be checking out the penis stabber, and it's like all happy and jolly, and it's like that is like you did it in text form, but you got it spot on. That is actually what both those channels are like. So I can see why people wouldn't care for Nexpo. But my point is, like, being a fan of these, the algorithm goes, you're a fan of these people, here's these people. And I'll usually check out a video or two before I decide if I like them or not. And I took to Moldered and Pharrell McGuire really fucking... Moldered and Question really fucking fast when the algorithm got me to look at them. But I saw this other one through the algorithm recently. And it was interesting to me because this one did a similar video to a video Pharrell McGuire did. I think it was the horrors on either Pinterest or LinkedIn. video. This channel had a video just like Farrell Maguire's, but it was uploaded a couple weeks prior to the video Farrell Maguire did. It was the same concept, is what I'm saying. The same topic. I'm curious, so I look at it. The voice is AI generated. The video is fucking boring. And I look at the comments, and all the comments are and like the comments are skewed. There's people doing the usual dick sucking because they love anyone that covers creepy shit, no matter how bad they are about it. And they're like, "Yeah, you're fucking amazing. Holy shit, I loved this video. It was so spooky." But then a lot of the comments were like, "Dude, the voice is AI generated. The video is AI generated. It's boring as fuck. This is dog shit, man." And I looked in, and I actually looked into the video more close. I was like, yeah, no, this. I think it's AI generated. The voice is definitely, and the voice is the worst AI generation I've ever heard for audio. Holy shit. He sounds like the guy that talks in the boring voice all the time. Clear eyes for dry eyes. It was so fucking annoying. It was I listened to maybe a minute, and then I just never looked at that channel again. You gotta be you gotta pick. You gotta be good at picking your shit, man. Fucking hell. Let's see. I don't want to spend too much on this because what time is it right now? It's like, oh god, it's 11. It's a bit past 11. Yeah, I got like movie day with friends today, so I'm not gonna wrap it up right now. I want to talk about a couple more things. Also, I don't like being on recording too much when I have my allergies acting up. It's the craziest fucking thing. I have lived around animals my entire life. My family has had 5 cats for I don't even know how fucking long. Years now. Years. There were times where I think we had more than 5 cats. There were times where we had 3 or 4 dogs, and we're down to 2 now. But more here lately, the past 2-3 months or so, I will be outputting snot like fucking crazy. I will be sneezing. I'll have moments where I sneeze like several times in a row. And a lot of times this will act up. It's still acting up now, but a lot of times it'll act up majorly when I'm out in the main area of the house. When I'm home, I'm usually in my bedroom, door shut and locked, completely sealed in. Sometimes I'll open my window to, just to let some fresh air in. But like, I went to my doctor for this, and they told me you might be developing allergies. And I'm like, what? I thought allergies were something you were born with, and they tell me I'm clearly I am. I don't know a lot of stuff about the most basic shit related to health, I guess, to like physical health or whatever you want to call it, sickness. But I had to have explained to me, no, you can develop allergies in the middle of your life even. I'm like, oh, well, and they're like, when does this most act up? And I'm like, when I'm in the main area of the house, when I'm around, when I'm usually, and what's unusual, like what's in the main area of the house? I'm like, well, we got 5 cats, we got 2 dogs. I think you're probably allergic to cats then, to the cats at the very least to the cats then. Most likely you're allergic to the cats, and I have to explain, like, especially when I clean the cat pan, because I'm the one in charge of doing that around the house. I will sneeze a fuck ton. So yeah, I might be allergic to the very animals we're keeping now. So, I mean, I don't claim any of them. They belong to the rest of my family. But it's been hell. It's been hell dealing with this, and there are days where I'm right as rain, fucking fine and dandy for the whole day, and then there's days where the entire day I am sniffling and sneezing and outputting mucus, and it's completely random whenever it chooses to act up. I can't even. It's uncontrollable. The doctor finally was like, "We're putting on nasal spray," and then they went, "We're putting you on." We're putting you nasal spray, and then they went, we're going to give you, I'm going to give you some samples of anti-allergy medication, and try that on its own, and if that doesn't help, try that with the nasal spray, and next time you come in, we'll talk more about this and see about maybe putting you on a prescription. At this point, it might have to be the anti-allergy medication and the nasal spray combined, just to combat this. It's fucked because I can't just tell my family, yo, we're getting rid of all our animals. I can't just tell my family like I said, I don't claim any of them. The cats, the dogs, they belong to my mother and sister. I can't just tell my family, yo, you're getting rid of all your animals because I have allergies. I can't do that. So I have to just nut up and deal with it and get medication for it. And it's been a fucking arduous journey dealing with this shit. Practically half the time I go out into the main house here, I wear a fucking face. I feel, no. Here lately I haven't been, but there was a period where I was, and I really should just like maybe wear a face mask every time I go out of my bedroom. I don't know. I guess I guess since I'm bringing up a bit of personal stuff, I'll there's one thing I want to talk about. I used to have this idea of wanting to get into streaming, but over time I decided I really didn't want to. There are three major reasons. I'm going to give you the abridged version of all of them. The first reason is I'm just not entertaining. I think I can do pre-made, pre-recorded shit and all that. Sure. I can do scripted shit or loosely scripted shit where I have these topics I want to talk about and I talk about. And even then I still fucking ramble. But on a live stream, I don't think I could entertain people for anywhere from 3, 4, 5, 7 hours at a time. A lot of it would be me just locking in and playing the video game. I'm bad at multitasking. Why do you think I do these vlogs standing in this atmospheric walking simulator game that lets me smoke a cigarette with a fucking hotkey? Why do you think I do my vlogs with this? If you watch my ideal game video when I was playing Ellen while also trying to talk, you'll notice it gets way worse. It gets way fucking worse. So that's reason number one. Reason number two, I was disillusioned by it a lot. This one is the one I'm gonna have to bridge the most. All right. So years back, I had a friend. He wanted to break into streaming. He expressly told me this is exactly pretty much exactly what he told me. I want to entertain people for a living. I want to make streaming video games my career. Now, even if I decide to go into streaming, I wouldn't want to do it for money. If money comes my way, I would set something up, sure. And if money came if I felt like it, if money came my way, fuck it, why not? But it was never it's never the intention for me. That's for me personally. For other people, do what you want. So I was all for it for him. Like, yeah, fuck it, why not? And his content was amazing at first. To me. He would do a lot of old video games. He would do, watch him go crazy in the jump rope section in Illbleed, watch him crack jokes while playing Extermination. One of my favorite things was he played Silent Hill 1. And if you know anything about Silent Hill 1, you know that when you get the hammer weapon, it trivializes every enemy in the game that isn't a boss. So he's going through the game after he gets the hammer weapon, yelling in time with the hammer swings, "You ain't shit! You ain't shit!" It was a fucking great time. He didn't have a lot of viewers. It was just us guys hanging out shooting the shit. Him and a bunch of the rest of us in our shared social circle. There's a lot of shit that doesn't matter and doesn't need to be talked about. But basically, he started a bunch of shit. I don't even know why. Started a bunch of shit with a mutual friend of ours. Ended up leaving our social circle. And ever since then, depending on his mood, I guess, he would either blame it all on the other guy, or he would try to memory hold the whole thing and not want it to be talked about. Years go by, some people see the writing on the wall. A few people left his community server that he made for his streaming activity, for his streaming fan community, whatever. A few of us from the old social circle he was in We left his server. Some of them left his server. Some of them stopped watching him as much or at all. But his content was still good. But then I noticed he was like shying away from a lot of his old identity, steeped in internet culture, a lot of the rest of us, and finally it was my turn. And again, without really going into too many details, it ended with me trying to talk to him in a voice call about everything. And this is the most important part because mind you, this is someone that wants to become a streamer, wants to become a successful streamer. Uh, I'm talking to him, trying to explain my side of things, and he just starts screaming at me over the voice call. Oh, I'm so fucking sorry we made you feel that way. And it starts screaming more. How do you think you make me look, huh? So, and that's when it clicked for me, like, maybe we were friends at one point, but by a certain point, I guess it felt like he stopped seeing me as a friend and more as a useful tool. I don't fucking know. And it's crazy because I remember way back but when he started streaming, I think he spent like a year as a normal streamer, and then he became a VTuber with some freeware rig with a freeware tracking software and rig, and and he modified the rig, touched up a little bit, uh, made use of that, and even then the content was still pretty fucking good. But it was my turn on the chopping block. He cut me off, cut me out of his life. It's whatever. I still gave a shit enough to look back, to go back to his channel occasionally. About a month after our falling out, I go back to his channel. It's completely different. It's no longer the older games he would play, the single player she would play. Now it's even in like the month leading up to our falling out, he was doing shit like emulating old NES, SNES RPG games to stream. A month after our falling out, I go back to his channel. It's all gotchas, team shooters, and MMOs. It's all hop in, watch me play Genshin Impact, FF14, Team Fortress 2, Honkai Star Rail, Grand Blue Fantasy. I don't want any of this shit. I fuck off. About a year later, I think about him again, go back to his channel, and all his VODs for the past month are first time playing Minecraft. I figure, fuck it, what the hell? I'll put a VOD on. I put a VOD in the background while I'm gaming myself, and I'm weirded out by about an hour into this. I'm weirded out because it's like I hear the game, but he's not talking. So I look at the VOD more close, and it's like, oh, no one's fucking there. He's not talking to anyone. No one's talking to him in the chat. There's maybe one or two people watching, or maybe even no one watching. He's just sitting there quietly streaming to pretty much no one. This is bullshit. So I fuck off again. About 2 years later, I don't even think about him. A friend of mine reminds me that he exists. And I'm like, oh, there's a name I haven't heard in a while. Fuck it. Let's see how he's doing. Bad. He completely changed his identity. He changed his rig. He got a new rig. He changed his name. He re-debuted as a separate identity as a VTuber. But hey, he's playing some single-player games. That looks pretty cool. Wait, why is he playing this open-world RPG game I watched him complete 100% years back? Well, he's doing it then. He's doing it then, replaying it, because he's doing it as a publicity stunt where you, yes, you, the viewer, donates money to me to decide how I act in the game, to make my decisions for me and decide what choices and paths I take. Yeah, it was getting really sad. It was getting like I get it. Okay, I get it. It's whatever you got to do, but by this point, it was very clear to me he was trying to do literally everything he could. I actually was curious about the whole re-debuting thing, and I actually talked to a guy I know who knows about VTubers a lot more than I do, and has even worked with them on a technical level on occasion. And they told me, uh, usually the biggest boost a VTuber can get in their audience count is when they debut and when they re-debut. So I'm like, oh, so a good amount of this is probably for that. That there might have been other reasons, but a good amount of this is probably for that. and and I just it was a lot of it was gaming the algorithm, doing whatever stunts he could to grow the audience. The last time I really gave a shit about him was a while back, like a year and a half, 2 years. I don't even remember. I was in a phase that I'm probably never going to go back to again. Unrelated, a bit unrelated. I fucking despise Twitch. I hate Twitch more than even YouTube. YouTube has done some shit in the past. YouTube has done some shit in the past where where they tried to like stop you from watching videos if you used an ad blocker. They're heavily fucking anti-ad blocker. They constantly change things, and I'm convinced at this point that a big reason why they constantly change things is because the changes they make are purposefully to fuck with downloaders. And I've even seen people reporting that if they download too much, admittedly they have to download a lot. These are people that download like hundreds of gigs of stuff a day from YouTube, I think. But they will discover that they get temporarily banned off of the platform for doing this. I think at one point YouTube even tried to come out and make a blatant statement that the content on YouTube either entirely or partially belongs to YouTube and you have no right to download it. Something like that. Fuck no. Shove that right up your ass. But my point is, even with all of that, I still hate Twitch more than YouTube. Twitch is such a shitty fucking platform. But I was in a phase where I was on Twitch. I was probably on there for about a month or so, trying to watch people that I like. There are two people right now that I will 100% still go to Twitch for. A friend of mine that streams, a friend of mine that I consider somewhat close friend, online friend that streams, and the Final Rumble, because I need my fucking fantasy wrestling. I need to see Hunk from Resident Evil suplexing Pegasus from Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway. Anyway. I was in a phase where I was on YouTube. I was back on Twitch as a viewer for various people that I found very vaguely interesting. And my old friend became one of those. I would refollow him. I would try to watch his streams, but it was always so fucking boring. Nothing like it used to be. Not just because we weren't friends anymore. Just literally, the quality was just dropped. And there were nights where I would be watching a friend of mine streaming, and I'd see on Twitch has this like sidebar that shows who's streaming, what they're streaming, to how many people, for how long. And it's like, I would glance at Severus, like, yo, he's been streaming, and he's been streaming Zenless Zone Zero to 2 viewers for 3 hours, and it's like, oh. And then I finally, one night, I get all bug-eyed. I'm breaking out in a shit-eating grin. I'm like, yeah, he's doing it. I know he hates my guts once. Nothing to fucking do with me, but I'm proud of him. He is fucking doing it. Because I see that he's streaming something to 70-something people. So I go to his stream. I'm curious. And this is... Because I hate Twitch so much, I never really go on the platform. I know dick all about Twitch. This was the night I found out that Twitch is a very specific thing. Where if you're not streaming, like co-host streaming with somebody, but rather you're doing your own stream, they're doing their own stream, but you're playing a game together, Twitch will still combine like audience statistics or whatever. And I look at that shit and it drops down to show 6 fucking people are watching him. 6 or whatever, however many it was, less than 10 people were watching him. Everyone else, the 70-something people, were watching the VTuber he was playing the game with. And I have a ritual I do. Whenever I find a new VTuber I know nothing about, I look at their channel, I look at their content, see what they do. See if they're interesting to me. If they actually play stuff. I had this happen before. I just happened before some random aside. Someone posts a video of this hot dancing wolf lady, big tall wolf lady, big tits, and my first thought was, damn. I know it's a furry, but that's a nice looking lady. That's the kind of lady you take out to a nice dinner date. But then my second thought was, oh, that's a full body rig. That's a VTuber. Oh, let's look her up. I look her up. She has no archives of any kind. She has no YouTube channel. And usually, when I see a VTuber having neither of these things, that's a big red flag for me. Sure enough, sure enough, she only streams on Twitch. And I look at her VODs for the past month, and it's alternating between just chatting and Final Fantasy 14. Literally, it's FF14, just chatting, FF14, just chatting. I'm sorry, but I need more content than just chatting, and I don't feel. And the idea of watching someone doing FF14 boss raids for hours every second day sounds tedious and boring as shit. So, not for me. So I look into this. I look into this VTuber he's playing the game with, and I find out she's only been streaming for a grand total of a year by that point. She recently did her 1 year anniversary stream, and it got a lot of attention. She has several times the followers he does. She gets 70 times the views he does on any given thing. There are some fuck. There was I saw that in some of her VODs she was getting just as much, if not more, views than she had followers. And she actually played video games. Yeah, she did stuff like team shooters from time to time, but she played video games. Actual video games that are interesting to watch other people play. And then, and I look at her stream and I find that even though she's doing a team shooter thing, that's the stream's titled something like, "We're doing our weekly team shooter night. Volunteer slots open." So this wasn't even like a proper collaboration. He was just going for a volunteer thing, and it didn't do shit for him. He wasn't getting any views. It didn't bolster his audience whatsoever. And it was the fact that this VTuber had been streaming for a bit over a year by that point, while he had been streaming for probably by this point about 5 years, at least. And she is several times more successful. This is where I have to admit, what the fuck is the word I'm looking for? Preconception. I don't know. Make no mistake, I guess I'll say here. No shit, VTubing is a female-dominated field. There are successful male VTubers. But the biggest advice I think anyone could give you for succeeding at being a VTuber easily is be a woman. I'm not trying to mean anything by this. I really am not. It's just what I've seen. It's what I've fucking seen. Even that wolf lady I talked about, she had a lot of viewers. She had a lot of followers, despite how boring her streams looked to me. Why? Because she's a sexy wolf lady who's like 7 feet tall with big tits, and a lot of people on the internet go for that. So it's like, and it's crazy because I can tell you VTubers that they do the same thing. Their models have nice tits, they look cute or sexy, but they actually do content. There's Alicia X Def, aka Alicia X Live. She does amazing reaction content to anime. She does some video game streams. She's great. There's I found her about 2-3 years ago. There's when a friend, the same friend, I think it was the same friend who got me into Feral Maguire, got me into Alicia X Death, specifically because of the Vulcan VTuber. Wow, the Vulcan SCP video reactions. And I watched those, and I fucking loved them. And I segued into watching her anime reactions, and it was great. I actually, I'm not even kidding. I'll tell my friends now. I'll tell my friends now. Like, can we watch the new JJK? Because until we watch the new JJK, not just because I really want to watch it, but because until we watch the new JJK together, I can't watch my favorite reaction VTuber reacting to the new JJK. And then a friend of mine that knows a lot about retro games and shit got me into Super Match, and she does a lot of old games. She does a lot of old games, and this isn't even like, oh, I'm emulating it. She keeps a physical collection that she tries to keep in pristine condition, I believe, and it's genuinely fantastic. I'm sorry, I'm in for this to be very very abridged, but I'm talking about a bunch of other shit that isn't the main talking point. The point is, these are VTubers. Their rigs are sexy. Their rigs have big chests, but they actually have content. They have content that I find actually interesting. But there are VTubers out there that they still get tons. They still get tons of viewers just because of their rigs, just because they put on these quirky personalities. No shit. So yeah, he's not. He last I knew about a couple years back, he wasn't doing well at all, as in terms of the whole making streaming his career thing. But then, for the last couple of years, I've been getting into. I mentioned them already. I think Mujin and Rima Evanstar, two YouTubers. They also do streams. That, like I said, they cover drama and shit happening in the VTubing area of things and in the wider streaming sphere. And they tend to do it objectively. Mujin especially, he gets a lot of information together. A lot of information. Screenshots, actual video footage, and record video footage of what he's talking about, what's going on. It helps that this is all in the streaming sphere because it's really fucking easy, therefore, to find the footage. This isn't like someone trying to find security camera footage to talk about a real life event. But and they would go into talking about a lot of these people, and I would find out about. I would find out more. There are streamers I did not know anything about. If you were to ask me, if you were to ask me a while back who Hassan is, I would tell you, oh, I think I heard about him. He's some political streamer. I don't really give a shit. That would be what I would tell you. I think he's a political streamer, and I don't really give a shit. Therefore, I don't really give a shit. Because I don't fucking know anything about Hassan. If you were to ask me a few weeks ago who Hassan is, we're like, oh, he's the fucker that went all riding God of Thunder on his dog, right? because Mujin did a really fantastic video about Hassan shocking Kaya. And it's but I think the crazy thing, one of the crazier ones was Mizkif. And again, like it's through shit like Mujin, I find out way more than I ever knew. I still remember it because it's still pretty fresh in my memory how Mizkif became the cameraman for Ice Poseidon, and they did this big bus tour thing. And again, I didn't know jack shit about Ice Poseidon, but now I know he did this bus tour thing where he cheated on his girlfriend and then broke up with her live on stream. And apparently this made everyone on the fucking internet, turn on him. Because, yeah, that's a piece of shit thing to fucking do. And how, like, Mizkif became so successful, there were apparently streams where he probably made 50 grand in one stream. He became rich, he became successful, he became super popular. Wasn't enough. He would start going crazy just because his girlfriend would get more viewers than him while they're both streaming their own streams at the same time. And he would like stop his stream and go fuck with her in her room in the house. Take her headphones away, throw them, play keep away with them, treat her like shit. fucking and everything I'm saying, there's fucking video footage for. I would basically through Rima Evanstar and Mujin, I would go on to find out this isn't this because again, I've said this before, I live under a rock with this when it comes to a lot of things. Usually when I find out stuff, it's because I'm indulging in something for my own entertainment. It just so happens the people I watch and the people I indulge in watching for my own entertainment are people that know what they're talking about and actually provide, fucking evidence for what they're saying. Show you proof that what they're saying, as crazy as whatever they're saying sounds, isn't bullshit. I would discover through Rima Evanstar and through Mujin over the last couple of years how fucking insane the streaming sphere is, the VTubing sphere is, VTubing corporations are. We're not just talking about independent streamers, we're talking about people hired by actual fucking companies. They would get abused, they would get strong armed into doing announcement videos or streams they didn't want to do. They would be told they're not allowed to do the projects they want to do. They would be in some cases they wouldn't be paid, or money they would make on a project they would do would end up going to the corporation. I think I remember something about I think it was Niji Sanji's CEO would take whenever one of his VTubers would get like there's this award that YouTube does, the golden play button or something like that. I think I heard shit about how, and I think I even saw video, like not videos, screenshots of it, of like his collection of them. How the CEO of Niji Sanji would take whenever one of his VTubers would earn a golden play button, he would take it from them, and he would keep it in his personal collection. Like, what the fuck? If I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong about that. But I heard it's something I saw. I'm pretty sure I saw stuff about it at one point. Like, even when it comes to actual hired VTubers for professional companies, in some cases it's actually way worse than if you're an independent, because because the position you're in and the shit you are and aren't allowed to do. But it was through these two people, Muji and Rima Evanstar, where I would find out that streaming in general is a fucking hellscape. Streaming in general, streamers in general. I've gone like for a while because of the shit with my old friend I was talking about. I thought this was something exclusive to him. I thought this was a personality exclusive to him. No, I would go on to find out the last couple of years through Muji and Rima Evanstar that this is a personality that a lot of people that get into streaming tend to eventually develop. Not all of them. A lot of them are great. A lot of them are great. A lot of them are good. I don't know why I'm doing the Trump voice, but a lot of them tend to turn out pretty fucking good. But then there's some of them that just quite a few of them that just they turn out like that. They become obsessed with their self-interest. Fuck everybody else. Everyone else is just a useful tool or a useful publicity stunt, useful for their public image. There's actually a really nice story. To switch gears a bit, to change things up, there's a really nice story while I'm on this subject. I'm so sorry this wasn't as abridged as I wanted it to be. Mujin did another video recently about a streamer called Tens, who became big in esports. He became big in esports. He got a girlfriend who would also become big as a streamer, and about how everything was perfect. Their relationship looked amazing. How they were at the top of the world, and then how his girlfriend had cancer and had to battle it, and Ten's abilities as an esports player were suffering because no shit, your significant other, your girlfriend, is going through chemotherapy and has cancer. Your fucking skills are gonna drop like a rock to the bottom of the ocean because you're dealing with deep personal shit. And the whole point of this video Mujin did was they had an amicable breakup. And by all accounts, it seemed amicable. And I'm not going to go however this happened in the background. No. No. What happened was everyone on the internet, everyone on the fucking internet that had any knowledge of these people, I didn't know about them until the Mujin video. But anyone that had any knowledge of these people, that were fans of them, that followed them, had to force themselves in their personal lives. Had to find every scrap of info they could because, oh, it's impossible. There's no way this could be an amicable breakup between two people. It's just fucking impossible that two people in their 20s, I think these two were. It's impossible that two people in their 20s could just come to the conclusion that they're drifting apart. They need to separate and move on with their lives, and that they can still be friends with each other. That's a fantasy. No way that could happen in real life. Fucking bunch of dumbasses, man. But by all appearances, and by all actual information provided, not the fucking crackpot theories that internet stalkers were making up, this was an amicable breakup between two high-profile internet personalities who just moved on with their lives, and Tens in particular said he finally decided, I'm going to retire from esports because I make more money streaming and I'm not than I do going to actual official esports tournaments, and I kind of fell out of I've done this. I think it was like Valorant. He was a pro player. It's like I've fallen out of love with Valorant or whatever the game was. I've done this for good few years now. I went pro. I can't make this game my entire identity because it's not, and I don't care about the game as much as I used to. So I'm gonna move on to doing other shit. Something like that. And yeah, that seems pretty normal and pretty fair, you know. You and your girlfriend discovered you need to just move on with shit. You've discovered you don't love the game you've been a professional esports player in as much anymore, and you're thinking logically, I make more money streaming. I make more money streaming than I do being an esports player. There are streamers. There are high profile internet personalities and streamers and whatnot out there that they're normal people. They get it. They're normal people. But then there's ones that just develop this like, fuck everyone but me. Everyone's a useful tool to me. I got to become successful kind of mentality. And in some of these people, like Mizkif, the sky wasn't the limit. They wanted to keep going and going and going and going ad infinitum. And nothing was ever good enough. There was never a good enough bottom line for it all. And at times it wasn't even about money. It was just about raw popularity. So I think over the last several years I've become incredibly disillusioned about the idea of streaming, of becoming a streamer. It used to be, it was never, I would even tell friends, I'm never going to become a streamer. Like in the last few years, I would tell friends this. And this shit's why. It's just, I've become so disillusioned about a lot of this. And it doesn't help the amount of work you'd have to put in. Like, to go back to my old friend I was talking about, in the very beginning of him trying to become a streamer, he would stream 5-6 days a week. Upwards to several hours or even more a stream. And he still, outside of like those of us that were just, us guys hanging out shooting shit, bros popping in to watch a bro play a game, he still wouldn't get a lot of traction. Despite the fact that he was making most of every week, half of every day just about, all about streaming. It's incredible. It's crazy. I would never, and like I said, I don't want to stream to be successful. I wouldn't want to stream to get money. Hell, I do my content creation as a fucking hobby, and that is something I get really lazy about. I would never be able to be a streamer. But I said two reasons. I've said two reasons. Being dissolute, one, my personality just isn't a good fit for it, in my opinion. I wouldn't be able to entertain people that well. Two, I would not be able to keep up with what you would have to do to become a good fucking a well loved and popular streamer. And I just became disillusioned by it, by my old friend, by everything I've seen after that, by various other streamers that I would become aware of, and just third reason. And as much as I've talked about point number two, as much as I rambled on in point number two, this is going to be shorter, but this is also the biggest reason why I would never be able to do this. It's my personal life. I have to help my family out a lot on a day to day basis. My mother's physically disabled. My sister has a kid. We all live under one roof, and oftentimes they need help. Oftentimes they need help with stuff. And it's just if you've noticed, quite a few times I paused in the middle of even recording this. Yeah, that I think outside of one time I went to take a piss. Yeah, that's all because I get a phone call. I get a phone call from the other side of the house. We need your help with something. It's actually gotten to the point where I don't know if you could call this some kind of psychological damage, but I would literally jump. I would get scared by my phone ringing by a certain point. Because I want to be understanding of my family, and I love my family. But there are times where they call on me so much, I can't even spend a couple hours doing something without an interruption. The only time, if you watched my Trepang video I did recently, the only time I can really do something for multiple hours, completely guaranteed uninterrupted, is when my family is not home and I am, or when my family is asleep and I'm awake. And that first Trepang video happened to be when I had crashed really early in the day, in the evening. Woke up at probably 3, 4 in the morning, had trouble getting back to sleep until about 6, and decided on a spur of the moment, fuck this. I'm starting the game up, and we're recording the playthrough. I'm recording this playthrough. I want to start a new game, get out of my autistic bullshit with stuff like Ellen, and clear another game out of the backlog. But I was always interested in recording it. So that first video is literally recorded at like 3 or 4 in the morning, when everyone else was asleep. I love my family, but I legit can't do shit uninterrupted without being called upon for more than like 30 to 60 minutes. And sometimes not even then. Sometimes like I will get calls, I'll get called, and then I'll get called 10, 15 minutes later, and then 10 to 15 minutes after that, and then 10 to 15 minutes after that, because they need stuff. Because they need help with stuff. And at times, it's kind of ridiculous. But I still love my family, and I don't completely mind helping them out. So it is what it is. Now, if I lived alone, I could fucking stream damn near 24/7 as long as I had the scruples for it. As long as I had the energy for it, which also I don't, because I tend to fucking fall asleep very easily. Trepang is one of the most action-packed games I've ever played, and yesterday I was nodding off while playing it because I was playing it a bit past midnight, and it was like, nah, it's time for me to go to bed. Fuck it, I'll finish what I'm doing for this part of of the playthrough tomorrow. Which yeah, I do want to get to that in a bit. So I'm gonna stop this in a minute here. But that's the third point. Is my personal life. I would never be able to maintain. I'd be telling my chat, hold on, chat. My mom needs me for something every 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes. It's unfeasible. Not that I really wanted to in the first place, but even if I didn't have those first 2 points to worry about, that is the biggest point, the third one right there. I would not be able to, even if everything else was fine. I would, with my views on streaming, and if I wasn't so disillusioned about it and jaded on it, and I wasn't lazy about this, since I just consider it a hobby of mine, I still wouldn't be able to do it because of my personal life. So that about wraps this up. Sorry for talking your off if you paid attention to the whole thing. I promise I'm going to be getting back to publishing the RMR videos and doing OP2 soon. But again, I can't promise too much after the oral surgery. I actually can't promise. I want to finish Trepang, or at least the recorded portions that I'm going to do, because I might go back and do there's like info you can collect in missions. I missed some of that. There's high value targets you can only encounter on certain minimum difficulties in missions. I might go back and just to clear those out. It's very much I don't want to get into it here. It's something this is the kind of shit I want to save for when I do my MG 2026 video. But immediate, absolute goal. Getting that shit done before I go in early next month for my oral surgery, which is just, I'm not going to do that exact date, but it's within the next week. So I got to get that done. In my mind, it's like I got to get the Trepang shit done. And then I don't know what I'm going to be experiencing for as far as mouth pain is going to go after the oral surgery. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to talk. I'm hoping I'm actually a bit paranoid and worried. I'm hoping nothing really fucks up with this, because I guess as a last minute aside, I have a hole in my radiator drum. And there's a constant ringing in it that I've gotten so used to, it's second nature to me. I don't even care. It's there right now, and I don't even care. I notice it, but it doesn't drive me nuts anymore. I've gone as far as trying to get fucking surgery to repair the hole in my eardrum. That did not it did not work. There's still a hole in my right eardrum despite the surgery. But after I came home from that surgery, I hadn't had surgery for a while prior to this. I assumed I would be able to come home, chill, get on my computer. Fuck no. I was bedridden for a whole day. I was puking and dry heaving. I felt like shit. Slept the whole day. Late that night, I finally got up and felt awake, got my computer, and even then I felt like shit. But I had been sleeping so much that day, I couldn't go back to sleep. I had to do something, exhaust myself, and finally pass the fuck out again. When I got oral surgery last year, and when I got to deal with some fucked up teeth, and when I went in for that surgery, I thought it was going to be. I was ready. I had everything prepared in my bedroom. I had everything ready. I had everything planned out with my family. I was ready for another full day of feeling like absolute horrible dog shit. I came home with a mouthful of packing and some bleeding gums. Went right to my room after feeling really woozy from the anesthesia and all the other shit. Came in here to my bedroom. Bucket by my bed for vomiting, laid in my bed, stared at the ceiling for 2 hours and able to go to sleep. I finally said, fuck this, got out of bed. I was able to get up just fine. I could walk straight. I didn't feel out of it. I didn't feel the least bit high. from the leftovers of the anesthesia and all that, and all the other shit they pumped into me when they put me under for the surgery. I immediately got back on my. I took all the packing out of my mouth, threw it in the trash, got on my computer. The only problem I had was my mouth felt really fucking weird because there was still the numbing solution and all that stuff that they injected in there. That I could still feel that. Or rather, the lack of feeling. But I didn't feel nauseous. I didn't feel tired. In fact, I couldn't sleep. It was weird. So I said, after 2 hours of laying in bed staring at the ceiling, trying to sleep, I said, fuck it. Got on my computer, spent the whole day just doing whatever, chatting with my friends, and hanging out with them. Mouth, it didn't feel that bad at first. Numbing shit wore off, and my mouth felt like shit. My jaw felt like shit for probably about a week. And then suddenly, the pain went away and stopped. But other than that, I felt fine. And in the immediate after the surgery, I felt completely fine. So I'm hoping and praying that I have the same experience going back in for oral surgery, because there's some teeth that they couldn't do until the next visit. But going back for oral surgery in a few days or so. And I'm hoping and praying I have the same experience. I'm hoping I come home and don't feel like absolute dog shit. But I don't know what's going to happen. There's always complications in surgeries, and I'm even a bit scared and paranoid about it, but that just puts me into my it is what it is mode. Whatever happens, happens. And it's the same people that did it the first time, and they did fucking fantastic. So I'm sure I can trust them the second round. Anyway, peace out. See y'all in the Trepang videos, and after that, who knows?